Safyr for SAP BW can extract metadata from a range of BW versions, including BW Classic, BW systems on HANA, and BW for HANA. We can choose the type of object that we want to work with. So let's go, for instance, in this case for ADSOs. In this system, you can see that there are 404 ADSOs. We can query on these ADSOs. Let's do a query on open sales order. So we'll subset down to, in this case, a particular ADSO. We can drill into the structure of that ADSO and we'll see the attributes that make up that particular ADSO. Some of these are associated with info objects, and what we can also do is we can show details of that particular info object, any of those info objects. What we can also do is we can look at the lineage for this object. So if I can go to this lineage hierarchy, so I can see that the ADSO is based on an info source, but it's also used by a HANA composite provider, an open ODS view, and 3 queries. It's also used by a HANA calculation view. And I can go down to the next level. So the HANA composite provider is used in turn by a HANA calculation view and 3 queries. The open ODS view is used by a query. So I can see this hierarchy of lineage as it flows through the system. I can use any level of this hierarchy to also interrogate details of each object. So I could, for instance, take a query, double click on it, and I'll see the structure of that query. And that query in turn will have its own lineage hierarchy. So this diagram gives an overview of the kind of lineage that Safyr can present for a BW system. So in the middle, we've got a range of different info providers. Obviously, these are dependent upon the type of BW system that we're dealing with. So we've got things like DSOs, ADSOs, info cubes, HANA composite providers, and we also have HANA calculation views. Now, these info providers could be fed by data sources, they could be fed by info sources, and then those info providers could be used by queries or open hub destinations. And of course, there is a self relationship, if you like, here for info providers to be based upon other info providers. So we can see the BW objects in this grid. We've done a query to get a particular ADSO in this case. We can also view these objects in a hierarchy of info areas. So what I could do is say I'd like to find where this particular ADSO lives in a hierarchy of info areas. And you can see this one belongs to this particular info area, which if we follow the tree up, belongs in scenario content. And if we go up a little bit further, you can see it belongs in technical content. You can see that there are other objects alongside this ADSO, some HANA composite providers and queries.